Hey guys, Steven Martinez with The American Dream. I just want to say a big thanks to all our supporters and fans. It's because of you guys that we're able to keep growing. Having said that, please don't forget to follow and subscribe. It means a lot to us. That's what helps us keep growing. And also, I hope you guys enjoy the next episode. Hey guys, welcome back to The American Dream podcast. I'm here with a very good friend. Call you a brother, uncle. Jose Escamilla, CEO and founder of Signature Marketing. Thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, this is long overdue. Long overdue. I think I've known you now for, like 3 years?
3 years.
3 years. I know we met through an event, and then we kind of connected because you love what we're doing, trying to help the Latino community out. Well, we are doing that. Having said that, me knowing you as a person, you have a very interesting, very unique story that I think would give people a different perspective and understand that the American dream, first of all, is possible. Doesn't matter where you come from or what situations you're in life. But really, just having that strong mindset to become more in life, you can really achieve it, as cliche as that sounds. So having said that, for anyone that doesn't know Jose, tell me a little bit about yourself, growing up to where you are now.
Man, I strongly believe I'm not the only one with humble beginnings or a tough childhood. There's a ton of people that I meet during my journey, wherever that may take me. I always run into people that have had humble beginnings and rough upbringings, beatings, and bad environments. There's a post I posted a few years back, that says, more champions come from poverty than from privilege. And I feel that there's a strength to us coming out from the struggle or poverty or tough beginnings. There's a little bit more fight in us because we had to actually fight from that environment. Fighting out of that environment was the obstacle. So as a young age, we kind of seen the American dream, but to us it was on TV, not our surroundings or our environment. So when we come out of that environment, win that obstacle, there ain't nothing else that we can achieve once we get the main obstacle is getting out of that environment or those kind of influences growing up. I grew up in gangs, went to TYC, Texas Youth Commission, for capital attempted murder for as a juvenile. I was 14, went in there, got out when I was 16, and it just continued down that path because I still didn't have guidance or a mentor or somebody to show me the American dream is possible. So from there I got involved with the drugs and opened up some traps in the projects. Got tied up with the cartels, did that thing for a little bit, ended up in prison, did 15 years flat consecutive. That means calendar for calendar, 15 years, not a break. So I did 15 years in prison. While I was in there, I picked up the habit of reading books, wanting to develop my mind. And that opened up a whole other world for me to listen about Elon Musk's story, Andrew Carnegie's story, to hear Benjamin Franklin's stories, and their beginnings were like mine, not as violent or intentionally running into the violence, but they struggled differently. Their struggles were a lot different. So what I did was put myself in their shoes, how they overcame their obstacles to get out of the situations that they were in to achieve success. So it was a possibility because of more books I read on this topic, on these great inventors, on these great men of business. A lot of them, Andrew Carnegie, he was an immigrant, moved over here. He was one of the main people that evolutionized the American industry. And seeing the stories of people coming from other countries and educating themselves here, kind of like your story, right? Educating themselves here and making something of themselves. So it made me realize, and it made me compare how those upbringings, what was the difference between the way they were thinking and the way most people from the same environments think. Some people fall victim into it.
Yeah.
When I got out of prison, I had every excuse on this planet. I was beat as a child. I was beaten as a child. TYC at 14 years old, I already understood the system. Going into cartels and dealing with all that craziness there and violence, those were lessons that eventually evolved me to the penitentiary. The penitentiary pretty much saw everything there was to see in the underbelly of the beast, right? So understanding that I've already ran those, the rap music, all these other things that influence these children to glorify that life was kind of like, bro, I don't even think y'all are getting it wrong. Like it ain't even, how are you gonna be, have your mom and your dad and medium income coming in, good education system, but you want to run into what we're trying to run away from. So that made me realize, okay, so what's the thinking here? And I adopted pretty much all the mentors that I've read through these 15 years in books, thousands of books. There's probably not a subject out there that I can't cover or some way speak on it.
How many books do you think you read?
Man, hundreds.
Wow.
Hundreds. I don't even want to say thousands, but I want to say hundreds of books on education, philosophy, psychology, preparing my mind for the things I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Going into these books with the 5th grade reading level, and pretty much right now I could read like a scholar. I make my money off of words now as a copywriter. I could take somebody's email campaigns, twist them up and around and make them take action through my emails. I can sell through my emails. And I think that had a lot to do also with the level of reading that I challenged myself to. So to kind of sum it all up, I decided to quit asking for a $10 answer with a 2-cent prayer, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If you want something great, you got to do, greatness is on the other side of work that you haven't done yet, right? And it's uncomfortable and it wasn't cool for us growing up to study, but smart people always led the way. So even as a young person, being little in stature, I'm a little bit bigger now, I'm older, but when I was younger, I was the skinny little kid. So I had to understand and face my fears that, okay, I wasn't the biggest kid on the block. I wasn't the most violent kid on the block, but I eventually evolved to those things because I knew from a defense mechanism, I needed to defend myself out here on the streets. I even learned how to recruit at 16 years old. Even if you have a pistol, if you're hand-to-hand combat selling crack to adults, the laws of physics ain't gonna allow you to beat 3 or 4 of these dudes as strong as they are, and I'm 16 years old, I'm a little kid, right? So I started learning how to recruit people, had to find out how to sell them into watching my back without also taking advantage of me. So I learned how to recruit the older dudes from the neighborhoods to watch over us with the guns on the roofs and all this to make sure that we were all right while we were slinging. And that just fed more people. And the more people I fed, the more people wanted to come work for me. Started changing things around that way at 16. So I took that into management. As in the cartels, they teach you how to manage, they teach you logistics, they teach you accounting, they teach you violence, they teach you how to negotiate.
It's a proper business at that point.
Oh, it's a proper business, yes indeed. And so no matter what stage I was in my life, there was a lot of lessons that I took up on, and it takes self-reflection, understanding the number one thing I think most men have a trouble with doing is reflecting on their own weaknesses. And if you don't understand your own weaknesses, you'll never figure out how to overcome them. So when I was young, I knew physically I wasn't the person to fully protect myself if somebody wanted to take my stuff, right? So I had to be smarter enough and not let that be a crutch, right? That's just another obstacle I got to jump over, but it's not a crutch. I didn't stop there. I figured out a solution to continue going. And I think that's what got me through is being able to understand, to do the work, educate myself, and apply it, right? I think that's the only difference between me and the people that continue to go back, right? They give up.
Yeah.
Gets a little bit too hard.
So talk to me about, it's interesting too, because we've had many guests here come from, for example, Ryan Davis, he came from being homeless to being a multimillionaire. Paul Martindale also was a maximum security prison, and he's a multimillionaire, and he's a construction roofing side. But every entrepreneur, the objective obviously is the same. They're all very successful, but it all comes down to mindset. But then the mindset comes down to childhood. So take me through, I guess, that childhood. You know, how was it when you were a kid? Was there a mother, father figure? Was it just you in the streets, or what was that?
So I had my mom and my dad, but it was the kind of household where dad would beat mom, and dad would beat us, right? And then I'm my dad's second family. I'm the oldest of his second family. So we had older cousins, and when I grew up, I guess they hated us. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess my dad switched out families or whatever. They didn't like the new one, so I was always getting picked on by my older cousins. There was two in specific. And I put myself through boxing to see if I could defend myself against them. But like I said, these guys were 8-10 years older than me, and I couldn't overpower them no matter how strong I was with my hands. I wasn't strong enough to put damage on them, right, to bruise their ribs. So growing up, I just had a lot of hatred. My dad would beat on me, and I would say, when I get older, that was my main thing. When I get older, when I get stronger, I'm gonna put a stop to this. Same thing with my cousins. I'm gonna put a stop to this. And then it started happening at school a little bit, because I was a good kid, man. I was an innocent kid. God didn't create us to be violent straight out the womb. That's embedded in us, depending on what kind of abuse or psychological, you know what I mean? So as I started getting beat up and picked on when I was little, I would cry, and I was ashamed of it, that I couldn't protect myself. My dad wasn't there to protect me, because I would hide it from him, the black eyes and all that. So I started boxing, then I started picking up a gun, and I pretty much chased my two bullies, my cousins, down an alley to my uncle's house, shot up my uncle's house, and my dad came up to me. I guess they called him, my cousin snitched on him, and snitched on me. So they call my dad. He gets to the house and he grabs me, slams me up against the wall, and he tells me, "Why are you shooting at my brother's house? Why are you shooting at your cousins?" And I was mad. I said, "Well, they beat me up too, man." And he looks at me and he says, "What the fuck is your problem?" I said, "Beat on me too." I said, "Since I was 5 years old, my cousins have been beating on me all these years, black eyes, broken nose, and you never did anything. The one time I stick up for myself, you want to get in my face and protect them too?" My dad just looked at me and was like, "Fuck, get in the truck. Where's the gun at?" Give him the gun. We go to their house. And as soon as he gets off, my uncles are out there, my cousins are out there, and he goes straight up, starts slapping my cousins around. And not because of what you think. He said, "My son took beatings from y'all for over 7 years and not one time snitched on him. Those black eyes he came home with, never said a word. The fucking noses that y'all broke on him, never said a word. The first time he sticks up for himself, y'all go and snitch on him. Y'all go call me. Y'all ready to call the cops. Y'all ready to just throw everything away. Y'all are pussies." And my uncles just looked at my cousins like, "Damn, that's what y'all built off of." This dude kept his mouth shut, got tired of it, finally stuck up for himself, and this is how y'all react. When he took it in silence, y'all can't. And the whole thing there is, it developed into adulthood, where I just hate bullies, bro. Every bully that I've ran into in school or in prison or even out here, I've always made my way to bump into some of these people to humble them. Some people just don't know. There's a social media influencer out of California, pretty big dude with a beard. You could tell he takes a lot of steroids and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've heard that he's gotten on stages and pretty much has called men weak, and that he'll have sex with their wives right in front of them with a gun down their throats, and they wouldn't do anything.
What?
Well, yeah, seriously, man. So I get the opportunity and the pleasure to finally be in the same room with this guy. And I had another influencer who shared my opinion about the guy that most gangsters that have caused any amount of level of violence out in the streets, they don't go brag about it. We don't brag about that stuff. And the person who does brag about it is living a facade. He's living in his own imagination. And some people tend to over exaggerate it, right? Because in their eyes, oh, he's a badass, right? He's a badass. And so they glorify this guy, right? And it's more like people that wish they lived that life, that are attracted to that life. Most of us that have lived that life don't want that life anymore. We want better. We know what that comes. Death comes, losses come, you know, being away from your kids and loved ones for years at a time. That's not the game, right? So I walked up to the guy, didn't say anything, but in any prison environment you've been into, you understand when the atmosphere in a room changes. You'll just feel that something's gonna happen. You start looking around because you feel it. There's just feelings. You build an intuition. You check the temperature in any room. You know if you're safe or not. And there's been times when everything looked normal in the prison cell, but you get that feeling, and within seconds it's jumping off. People are going around stabbing each other, whatever, right?
Wow.
So I walk in kind of aggressive. I shake everybody's hand. I look down at this dude because he's sitting down, so I'm standing over him. I look down at him. I said, "What's up?" He looks up and he's taking a little bit back, and I shake his hand and I pull it and I let him go around, shake everybody's hand, and he starts asking like, who's that? Who's that dude? Who's that dude? Finally, I had the guy that was running the event come and tell me, "Hey, what'd you do to this dude?" I said, "I didn't do anything to him but shake his hand. But I put it so he look at me in the eyes." And he put his head down, right? So I walked away. Anyways, the whole purpose of that is, the whole story of the purpose of that is that there's people out here glorifying that lifestyle that I strongly believe is misleading men in a direction for failure. You know, you shouldn't, if you want to look a certain way, look that way because you want to, because it benefits your kids, because it benefits your lifestyle as a good human person, right?
Yeah.
But when you go around telling people you're gonna have sex with their wives right in front of them with a gun in their mouth, and they ain't gonna do nothing, now you're just being a bully, right? And you can look at it like I try to bully that dude. I didn't try to bully that dude. I was kind of like checking his temperature to see if he was really what he said he is, right? Because a maniac that says things like that and does behave like that shouldn't. We got to keep an eye on him. If he's going around raping women in front of their wives, right? That's something to check. But, you know, people glorify that life, man. And I honestly, everybody from the hood that sees my social media, people I was incarcerated with in the past, see me on social media, man, they tip their hats off to me and tell me, hey, congratulations. You know, they don't hate. They're not looking at me saying, you know, fuck that dude, he made it, he thinks he's bad. It took a lot of work at educating myself. I had a friend who invested over 150 in my education. I spent another 150 with coaches and mentors and events like the American Dream. You know, I've invested in myself. It took a lot of work. It took changing one life for another, right? So getting rid of that life for this one. And I'm very transparent about it, right? And I'm transparent about it because you can't tell. I could be in the hood tomorrow, you know, shooting dice in the projects and shooting the shit in there, and be in a boardroom with 20 millionaires as I'm running the meeting.
Adaptability.
You see what just like Bruce Lee says, man, be like water. We got to evolve. And that's what life is. We evolve in these stages. As interesting as my story is from when I was young, I think my interest, and I got stories, like I could tell you about kidnappings and murders and all that fun stuff that we see on TV, but we never see the struggle that actually went through, the sacrifices and the changes I've had to make to get hired as a business consultant or to take over people's marketings. I've turned down, in the past 2 months, I've turned down 3 COO positions for, you know, corporate positions, and I'm not feeling that right now. So there's some other opportunities out there for me now, and that's the great thing about educating yourself and wanting a difference is opportunities start coming to you. Abundance, believing in abundance. And I've struggled, made some bad financial decisions, some bad personal decisions that have bankrupted me and left me for broke. And those were very humbling moments for me, especially when I got people in my DMs hitting me up saying, man, you're our motivation, you're our strength, keep going. keep going, don't let us down. Then I'm like, fuck. You know, so I don't got room to bitch and complain. I got a great support system around me, but I can only depend on them for so much. I got to do it on my own. You know what I'm saying? But it takes a village, man. I don't believe that anybody makes success on their own. They're just cheating the team that's around them, right? A general can't win a war with no army, right? And same thing with us, with some of our other friends, dear friends around us, even as a support system checkup. You know, you're having this great event coming up, and you've tripled your count, right? And you're like, it's just amazing to see where you started and where you're currently at now. And all we got to offer you is how can we help? How can we best support you, right? Because you're asking for a $10 answer with a $10 prayer. You're doing the work, you're hustling, you're not letting distractions get in the way, you're not letting your upbringing or your past define how your actions are going to be moving forward. And the American dream is your dream. And that's why I'm sitting here today. I've always loved what you were doing. So again, yeah.
I appreciate the kind words, bro. Kind of looking back and just hearing what you're saying, I think it's interesting to understand your childhood, right? And pretty much how essentially, you know, you're going through a tough situation. You have to stick up for yourself. And then you not only stick up for yourself, but as we're moving along the trajectory of your life, right? Gangs start to be involved, but then I guess in theory you're involved with the gangs because you have to protect yourself, right? So tell me about one of those things that you learned being in a gang and being in the cartel that you learned from them that you use today in business.
Leadership and support. I believe it should happen as well as raising your kids is supporting your kids in what their dreams are. Right? If you had a shitty upbringing, shitty high school, you know, you're going to push your kid to be something you weren't in high school that you wish you were in high school, right? So we push our kids with our experiences. I feel like we should be supporting them and guiding them in the right direction, right? Because we're not raising good kids, we're raising future fathers and future mothers, right? If you got a daughter, mothers, a son, fathers, we're not raising good kids, we're raising future fathers, future leaders. What are you instilling them today that's going to be useful for them as they turn into adults? Or do you sit there and dictate to them how they're going to behave and feel? Hey, don't fucking cry, right? That's what I was told. I was told to suppress all my emotions up until my 40s, when I'm like, I wasn't supposed to be suppressing my emotions. I was supposed to be getting comfortable with my emotions and become familiar with my emotions so I could deal with them, right? And so I wouldn't have to use alcohol or, you know, in other aspects. A lot of men use different outlets: sex, gambling, you know, addictions, whatever, pornography. There's people addicted to porn. I don't understand it, but there is people addicted to porn because they don't want to suppress their emotions. They weren't taught that growing up. And I feel that if I didn't suppress them, I wouldn't have been as angry. I wouldn't have, everything just leads to anger, right? So I've had to reflect a lot on that. But yeah, I think being in control of my emotions, leadership and management, being a strong support system for my teams, I've brought that management and having empathy instead of dictating to people what I need them to do. I support them and hire them based off their talents and gifts through my hiring processes, where I don't have to manage them. I let them run their part of the army. Kind of like Napoleon did when he created guerrilla warfare, right? Everybody was so used in fighting in a big group. He broke it down into little groups to go through the mountains and surround them and beat them. That's what I do. You get more done covering more ground. And how you do that, you can't be in 10 departments of your company, right? So hiring people and encouraging them to be their best, right? Training. There's something our boy Nihal says. He says, I tell my team, the day I quit providing them value is the day I'm giving them permission to walk away. It's our responsibility as leaders in any industry that you're in to be the example first, right? To be the example, and to being understanding that sometimes, you know, as much as we want to finish on deadlines and expectations are high priority. Some people aren't built for that, but they're very talented at what they do. Understand to have patience with them. And I believe quitting, I believe in not having too much expectations in people because they will disappoint you. Accept them for who they are and work with that. God, like I mentioned, God created us all perfect. None of us are worthless, right? But we can be useless, right? We can be useless to Him. And that's something that I've never wanted, was to be useless. So whatever talents I got, I think I give my talents away more freely than I charge for them. And that could be a problem for me, but because I want to pass it on, I want to help others. I treat others as a person I wish I had through my development, right? So today people ask me, who are you? And one of the answers that I got is I'm addicted to self-development. That's it. I'm addicted to self-development, and my choice of drug is information. I need information.
I like that.
The more information I got, the more creative I can get, the more ideas I have, the more solutions I have to solve problems. And that's all we really are as leaders. People are going to come to us for guidance or direction or help, right? I want to be at my best, no matter in what area of my life. I'm 40 something, right? I'm in my mid 40s, and I still box. I still run. I still jog. I still treat my body like I was in my 20s. I mean, it don't agree with me. I'm always got pains and aches, and I'm telling you, I can't sneeze without cracking my back, right? But I'm still in there putting in the good fight, because you never know when you might need me, or somebody in here might just come in here, start throwing chairs around. We got to stop them, right? I'm prepared for that.
I love one of the things that I think really highlights like you as a person. If someone says, Jose, right, the first thing that pops into my head automatically is loyalty. And Kaiser also agrees with that as well. And I want to kind of touch base on that importance, because I think out of a lot of people nowadays, we're lacking, loyalty in this world, right? People will just always be looking for their self-interest. Having said that, that loyalty, how is that so important, not only just in your personal life, but also when you carry it in with your business and sticking to your word, essentially?
Man, it's the people that I've heard this before is my level of loyalty for people. I've had NFL players reach out to me over my friendship with someone that we had a friend in common, right? They seen how close I was with this guy, and they were like, man, I wish I had a friend like that. And the thing with that level of loyalty, it's a gift given to those who deserve it, right? I've been loyal to people that have never been loyal in return to me. It broke my heart, right? It hurts. It hurts like true love breaking your heart. When you love someone, where you're loyal to them, you ride with them. I've had people call me at 2 a.m. Hey, can you pick me up off this club, man? I want to go home. I don't want to be here. I'll go over there, grab whatever I need to grab, call whoever I need to call, make my way in there, grab him, take him home, make sure he's safe, right? I'm that guy. I'm the guy that you call if we're having a good time at a restaurant and you see somebody that might not agree with you over a contract deal or something, and he's had alcohol in them. I'm that guy who's gonna step in first, right? Why? Is because I wish I had that too. I wish I had that too. Some people that have broken my heart, it's easy for me to say, you know what, all these people switched up on me. I ain't gonna fuck with nobody no more, right? Yeah. I'm letting someone with that level of low quality of integrity determine my behavior towards others. I can't do that. And that's kind of like the advice I give to a friend when they break up, right? It's usually a woman, right? Oh, he cheated on me. I'm heartbroken. I'm crying. Hey, you know what? Don't give up on love because one person didn't deserve it. The same thing with loyalty. Don't stop being loyal to people who deserve it over giving it to someone who didn't deserve it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
So loyalty is free. It shows a level of my character. I don't ask nothing in return with my loyalty. It's just who I am. and I don't know if it's from my upbringing. I don't know where that comes from, but I'm that dude you could wake up at 4 a.m. and call me no matter what it is, right? If just make sure it's worth it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't wake me up at 4 for
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Talking about let's go party. Nah, my boy.
So there's one thing that I want to touch base on too, which I think is interesting, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs would vouch. You need to be book smart, obviously to a certain degree, and I think you obtain that financial literacy being locked up for 15 years and reading hundreds of books, but you also need to have some sort of street knowledge. And well, when I say street knowledge, I'm not saying slinging dope and doing this or that, but some sort of attentive intelligence to where you know how to operate a business, and if someone's gonna kind of backstab you, or are they out just to for their own interest, this or that. How important is being street smart in business, or has it helped you?
Oh fuck, my aggression. You got to be aggressive in the streets. You build a level of anxiety being on the streets.
Yeah.
You never know. You've got to be fight or flight every day, man, and that psychologically and physically fucking adapts to that level of thinking. So your body's constantly on anxiety mode, on fight mode, right? So what that also does is you could look at a situation and look at it in so many ways of how that could cause you harm or break or ruin the business plan or whatever in there, right? Having that level of anxiety to see what can possibly go wrong here and how can we fix it before we launch this business or this marketing campaign, whatever it is, right? So I believe like being prepared in the morning, getting your gun, making sure you got enough clips and enough bullets in there, making sure that you're looking both ways when you walk in across the street or walk into your car, checking the back seat. There was always precautions that we always made, and I think those precautions I've brought into corporate world have designed a level of SOP in my head of, okay, here it is, what can possibly go wrong, correct whatever errors, so when it does happen, I'm already prepared for it mentally. While everybody's trying to escape the burning building, I'm running in because I've got the solution to the problem, right? I'm the one you call and say, hey, this happened, cool. I predicted this happening, here is my solution for it, and we should continue on once you fix that, right? I believe that did honesty, the being in a group of members in a cartel. If you tried to have sex with my wife or my girlfriend at the time, and I'm in prison or I'm out of town taking care of business and someone hears about it, I don't have to be there for someone to say you violated so-and-so by trying to sleep with his wife. We're gonna head and
take care of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So doing that. Drugs was another thing. To this day, I don't use any drugs. My poison was a little bit of alcohol here and there, and maybe a little bit of gummies to go to sleep, a little bit of weed to go to sleep. But as far as drugs, we never did it. It was a big no-no. Drugs, lying was a big no-no.
Can you tell if someone's lying? I guess just from an interaction.
Yeah, I've taken NLP training and some other trainings on how to read people. Your subconscious already has all the answers. I can ask you a question right now and your subconscious will give me a very small hint of yes or no. It could be a blink of an eye, it could be a crease on your lip, it could be your eyebrow, it could be just a nod, but then your conscience kicks in, right, which makes your decisions daily, kicks in and gives me another answer. Well, I already got your answer from your subconscious, so I already know what you're thinking, right? So there are very small tips when you know someone's lying to you, man. And 80% of the time is when they tell you, I'm not lying. Mm-hmm. But pay close attention to people. They're easy to read. That's why people they can't look at you in the eyes. They don't want you to see, they say that the eyes are windows to the soul. They don't want you to see that their soul is negative.
Isn't in theory everyone's soul? I mean, no one's perfect. Everyone has their demons, right?
Everybody. I mean, I hear things about pastors that have huge followings. Even Peter lost his patience and had a ton of anger towards Jesus. right? There's tons of stories of anger and evil people out there. I believe some of the church people are probably the most judgmental people. But it's for, like I mentioned earlier, we're in a constant world of evolution. We're constantly growing, right? All these liars and people that hide behind the Bible and make themselves, they grab the Bible and they got it like this in front of you because they don't want you to see them for them.
Even if it's the Bible too, I mean, it could be any religion, anything.
Success.
Yeah, people just always want to show that facade first before they show you their true colors. Who was it? I think Kaiser said this too 2 days. It was like, the reason and how to see people is through time. People will eventually show their true colors through time. So I thought that was a very interesting kind of concept that he said.
I tell people to at least, you know how quick you can meet someone today, and by next week they're calling them their friends. Oh, that dude's my friend. That dude's good people. He's vouching for him. And bro, you don't know that dude, bro. You met him 2 times and you know.
Club,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's my
like
boy,
I think you should, at least 2 years get to know someone. Mess with somebody for about 2 years. Say no to them. See their behavior when they're angry. See how they're going to react towards you. Even when you're dating someone, is this person going to go run with our personal beef and go tell all her friends or go on social media or talk behind your back? Or how are they going to behave when y'all are on the offs, right? And that right there will determine what kind of person this person is. And 9 times out of 10, damn, I was wrong about that person. Give it some time, cook it in. Don't just show them small glimpses. There's this thing I heard that says to really know someone, quit looking at them. Because when you're looking at somebody, they're on the best behavior. Don't look at them. Go let them be free. Give them space. Go. Let me see how you're going to react.
Yeah.
Let me see what you're going to go do. Yes, I could be in the wrong, but I want to see how you're going to go handle it. I'm giving you time to cool off.
Test.
Go handle it. Yeah, go handle that. And if they, sabotage you or talk behind you or go gossip around you, or that's who you got. That's the kind of person you got. But I always tell people in the beginning, if someone lies on you, they'll lie to you. If someone gossips to you, they'll gossip about you. If someone's, sharing rumors, they'll share rumors about you too. So the signs are always there when you meet someone. It's if you overlook that because there's their personality that you like, you will overlook things that can potentially harm you down the street, down life.
Yeah.
And understanding them for who they are is better than not trusting them, right? I'd rather trust you to be a gossiper. I trust you to gossip. So I know that if I tell you anything, you know what I mean? Yeah. I know that. Yeah. Going into this friendship, I know that if you do that, you're gonna do it to me too. If you stole from someone and come and brag to me about it, yeah, man, I took his money. Shit, you'll do it to me.
Facts.
So I can't let you borrow $1 or leave money aside. If me and you are me and someone are at a club and one of our friends has a hot wife or a hot girlfriend, and I hear you say, or whoever's next to me say, hey man, look at this girl, she's bad, she's got a nice ass, or nice face, or nice titties. Then I know you'll be looking at my girl too. I can't trust you. People tell us that. They confide in us with this. And we overlook these things, and you figure out down the street, damn, he slept with my wife. Well, yeah, he was looking at everybody else's wife. And he stole money from me. Yeah, he told you he was stealing money. Man, he lied to me. Well, he told you he's lied to other people. You've been there through all that.
Wow. Psychological warfare is crazy, bro.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, we could do a part 2 on this. That's crazy. So let me talk to you about one thing too. So just kind of hearing everything, which I agree, man, it's crazy stuff. But, being locked up in maximum security for 15 years, and then you transition pretty much, it's its own world, I would assume. And then, you step out to the real world, and now you're a multi-millionaire. That transition, how was that? And especially, too, because you had a lot of stuff happens in 15 years, right? I mean, the iPhone came out, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 years ago, right? Like, technology is always advancing. How did you adapt and change, and how did you become so successful coming out of prison?
I had a little bit of old money left that gave me a cushion when I got out. And by trade, I was a barber, right? So I was cutting hair, and a friend of mine that owned several barbershops walked in. He heard I was out. I was still at the halfway house, so I wasn't entirely out. I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there cutting hair. I enjoyed this stuff, man. I enjoyed cutting hair, right? Because it's like the thing to do when you're in prison is cut hair. You get to walk around and stuff. So I'm in there cutting hair. I got these new clippers the way I wanted them. I'm cutting people's hairs. I got some great stories about that too. Well, this guy walks in. He says, "Why?" He says, "Hey, let's go have lunch." I just got out. I'm like, all right. He's got a brand new Range Rover. He's got money for days, right? He sold all his franchises. And we're about to eat. And he says, "Man, I got a quick question before we eat." I said, "What's up, man?" He said, "Why are you working at that barbershop? You're the kind of person people wait on. You don't wait on other people." And he hit my pride, man. Like, fuck. Like, is this how he sees me? And is this how everybody else sees me? So I didn't get no sleep that day. I went to work, packed up my stuff, paid whatever booth rent I had to pay for the week, and I said, "I'll see y'all later." I walked out, and I called a friend. He had a kind of mastermind thing going on too, and he invited me. He's been inviting me to come over. I went over, he tried to explain social media and the internet to me, and there was a Navy store, Old Navy. I don't even know if they still have these things, but it was an Old Navy store, and he's like, "Look, I can grab those shirts for $6 and sell them for 15.
Yeah.
And on the internet." And I'm like, "So you sell shirts?" Like, I didn't understand what he was saying. He was trying to picture like me, like trying to find somewhere to relate it to, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
So he put me through some programs. I bought some laptops. I figured out, my brother called me from prison. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I don't know yet, but whenever I figure this out, I'm gonna be the best at it." And kind of find out, this dude went and hired 2 of the biggest in the industry in marketing, internet marketing, to coach me. But I didn't know who they were at the time. So I was just shooting the shit with them, learning a bunch of stuff, learn how to run copy, learn how to run Facebook ads, how to build websites and funnels, how to strategically put a whole campaign together for success. And from there, I just climbed up, understanding marketing. You understand the softwares it takes to put together. So I understood technology. So I became CTO, then general manager, and then COO. And 9 years prior, I told him in his own company, I said, "I don't know what all this is, but I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna come get your job." 9 years later, bro, I was a CEO of that company. He looked at me. I said, "You remember?" He just looked at me and said, "Motherfucker."
Yeah, I
forgot.
remember.
Yeah, I forgot 9 years before I told him I was gonna come get his job. He kind of laughed, like, "How you gonna get my job?" Well, he's the president and owner. I became the CEO. So what made me want to get there? No matter what I did, man, I never lost. You know, when I started training in boxing, I got good at boxing. When I went into gangs, I was successful in gangs. When I went to prison, I went in, got out with my dignity and my hands, and went to the cartels. I'm still here, right? Went to prison, did the prison thing, got out. So no matter what I did, man, no matter how uncomfortable or how unpleasant some situations were, I always came out at the end of it a lot better. You know, like I mentioned, I've had to close myself into an Airbnb for 3 months just to get all external influences away from me, listening to people's voices or comparing myself to someone else's success, and just dial in on my own stuff, on God, on my work, on my future. I had to map all that out, right? Because I was just freestyling, honestly, just having fun, being successful, taking that at grace. Now I'm a lot more appreciative. I've been a millionaire 3 times, bro. And I'm on my way again. And the thing is that once you do it once, you already understand the formula. Nothing can stop you, no matter what your beginnings are. That don't define where your future is going to end up at. It's the work that you're going to do. Like I said, I'll never pray a 2-cent prayer expecting a $10 result. That means I got to do the work. No matter what I do, pray, make love to my girl. I got to go hard. No matter what I do.
Go hard in everything.
Go hard in everything.
Business, life, and love, all that.
All that. Love, hate. If I ain't even got time to hate, bro. I just cut people off now.
Same.
There's people wondering right now, why don't he fuck? I don't even got time to explain why I don't want you in my life anymore. That's somebody already raised you. to be that. I'm not going to re-raise you to look at things right or wrong. You know, if I give everybody an opportunity, and once I see those red flags, I'm not going to ignore them. We've already been there, like, fuck, I got fucked over again by this dude or that girl or this dude.
I know.
Let's not do that.
We're a little close on time now. It's been flying by, which is great, by the way. I guess for anyone hearing, you know, any like last words of encouragement, someone that's going through it all, someone that wants to be an entrepreneur, someone that that gets in trouble. I used to get in trouble all the time. You know, I'm not perfect, but I guess what would be kind of your closing statement to that person that's listening?
Man, nothing is free, and choose your friends wisely. And what I mean by friends, find people that are doing things that you want to do, but also provide value. Don't be a taker. Be valuable to other people, just as valuable as you want them to be to you. That, and the last one, man, it's hard. Walk by faith, not by sight, and don't give up. Don't be a pussy. Like, things get hard, but once you get past that learning curve and you get good at what you're doing and become familiar with it, just strive to be better each day. Never get comfortable. I think that's what I would give them.
And don't do a 2-cent prayer expecting $10 results.
Don't put in 2-cent prayers expecting $10 answers. Like God is gonna give you what you want, man. But at least try. You know, put some effort into it. You know, don't sit there and cry when things are bad and when things are good. And let me tell you, God isn't the only one blessing us with good things. The devil will give you good things too, to build your vanity up so high and whisper in your ear and say, look, you're great by yourself. You don't really need God. You don't need God. And how many of us have been guilty of winning in life and pushing God away? And then when things get hard, we want to go run to God back again, right? So not every blessing is from God, right? And not every good deed is the right thing to do. Just because you do something good doesn't mean it's the right thing. The right things are what God's designed you to do. All the other extra stuff, you did good over here. Oh, you saved, you walked this old lady down the street, but you were supposed to be over here. Yeah, you did a good thing, but it wasn't the right thing. I needed you over here,
Brother, that was crazy, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.